Hey guys, welcome to some more Godzilla King of the Monsters on my channel. I just got done washing some dishes, so don't mind me right now. This is going to be a spoiler review for the movie. If you have not seen the movie, then you need to leave right now. If you have, grab some popcorn and enjoy the video. I will not get super in-depth with this movie, but I will say some of the major plot points in this movie, alright? So, basically the movie starts off with the classic Godzilla roar, which I was very glad to hear. And at the beginning of the movie, you see Vera Farmiga's character standing amongst the chaos of what happened in Godzilla 2014 when he fought the Mutos. And so you see that in that event, her son was lost. And we fast forward a couple years later, and we basically see that Vera Farmiga's character and Millie Bobby Brown's character have been working on this thing called the Orca Communicator, and basically what it allows them to do is communicate to different monsters or kaijus. And so, in this beginning scene, we literally see Mothra hatch from her egg, and she's in her larva form, and she starts freaking out, so they use the Orca Communicator to calm her down, and they get kidnapped by a terrorist group. And so basically, Kyle Chandler's character basically is the father, and basically he needs to find them, and this leads them into meeting Monarch, and Monarch use him to track the Orca Communicator because they know if they can find the Orca Communicator, they can find them. So they use him, they track it down, and they find them eventually. And they find them at the site where Monster Zero is. And Monster Zero, if you guys do not know, in the original Godzilla movies, there was a movie called Godzilla vs. Monster Zero. Or Invasion of the Astro Monster, if you want to go by its original title. Anyways, Monster Zero is basically King Ghidorah, so they basically awaken King Ghidorah with the Orca Communicator while using these superpowered drills to drill him out of there. And he awakens and he starts slaughtering all the humans in the area. Kyle Chandler's character survives. So it's just madness. And then within the first couple of minutes, Godzilla shows up. And then there's a battle between King Ghidorah and Godzilla, probably like 20 minutes in. And they battle, and Godzilla starts losing, and then King Ghidorah flies away. And so basically they begin to try to track King Ghidorah. I forgot to mention Dr. Shirazawa's partner, one of the characters in the movie, Dr. Shirazawa's partner from the last movie, who was following him around, dies in this movie because she's crushed by Ghidorah. And so basically they try to track Ghidorah, and they can't find him anywhere. They say there are these unnatural weather patterns happening where tornadoes are just moving in one direction and lightning storms and all this madness going on. So then they find out that Vera Farmiga's character basically used the Orca Communicator again to unleash Rodan. And Rodan wakes up in Mexico, so they call in these jets to come fight him off because he's communicating with Ghidorah. So when Rodan gets off the volcano, the best action scene in the whole movie happens. Rodan flies over the city of Mexico, and everything just gets blown away, blown apart. People are flying all across the place. His wingspan is causing this tremendous sonic wave. The momentum from it is just destroying everything. And so he fights the fighter jets. He's tearing them apart with his feet. He does this one cool move where they fly underneath him and he goes up in the air and does like this wing clap and blasts them apart. He also does this, there's this really cool part where he's trying to eat the entire jet. So the guy panics and ejects into his mouth and he just chomps down. But the coolest move in the entire scene is where he basically does a barrel roll like movement, and he destroys all the planes in the area with his wings while doing the barrel roll. And then this leads into his conflict with King Ghidorah. They both clash. King Ghidorah ends up defeating him by grabbing both wings and then zapping him with his middle head. Rodan falls into the water, And this is the point where I thought the movie moved too fast right here. It moves way too fast. Godzilla comes out of nowhere, and he starts fighting King Ghidorah right there. Right after King Ghidorah just fights Rodan, and right after Rodan just emerged from a volcano. It's just insanity at this point. And this is where I thought it moved a little bit too fast. But in this moment, the government revealed to Shirazawa and some of the Monarch workers that they have come up with an oxygen destroyer, which if you guys watch the first ever Godzilla movie, you guys will know what that is. So they use it in the water, not before Godzilla rips off one of Ghidorah's heads. And because Ghidorah is a flying creature, and he doesn't really do as well underwater fighting as Godzilla. But when they release the oxygen destroyer, Godzilla gets injured and Ghidorah gets away. And that's where you get that shot from the trailer where Ghidorah is roaring on top of the volcano, because that head grows back, which is a new ability that Michael Dougherty gives Ghidorah, which he's never had before. And his head grows back and he does the Alpha Call, which releases all the Titans across the world, since Godzilla's down and he can't really keep the world in balance. And on the volcano, Rodan kneels before him, as he is the new Alpha. And so basically they figure out that they have to give Godzilla a charge with nuclear energy, but they can't find him anywhere. And in this moment, this is where, I'm actually just skipping forward a little bit. Mothra begins to come out of her cocoon that she made in China after she escaped the facility that she was as a larva. So she cocooned underneath a Chinese waterfall. And this scene is just super beautiful. And I also want to point something out. Bear McCreary does the sound design and the sound mix for this movie. And he does an amazing job. And they pay homage to the original Mothra song going, Masura. You know what? I'll play that for you guys. Just a little bit of it. Like, once you hear that in the theaters, you guys will get it. It pays homage. And I really love that scene. It is very beautiful. The visuals in the scene for her coming out is just beautiful, along with the music. And so basically, Mothra hovers above the spot where Godzilla's injured. And basically, she's like the queen of the monsters. And this is also another problem I have with the movie. Mothra and Godzilla kind of have a relationship, not like a male and female relationship where we love each other and stuff like that. It's more like a animal kingdom relationship. Like they kind of work together. They're more like partners, which I thought was weird, but it kind of makes sense because he's the king of the monsters and she's the queen of the monsters. So she hovers above the area and she used their god rays to shine down where Godzilla is. They go down there. They set the nuke off in front of Godzilla, giving him a charge. Shirazawa sacrifices himself when he does that. And so basically, Godzilla's pumped up, he's juiced up, and we have a final battle with Ghidorah, who Millie Bobby Brown's character led to Boston with the Orca communicator. We have a beautiful battle scene between those two. Godzilla's juiced up, and my favorite shots is with Godzilla in a Jets movie, and he roars and he's all like beefed up, he's all like pumped up, he's juiced up. It's almost like they gave him steroids. They nuked him and he's like, oh yeah, I feel good, let's do this. So he fights Ghidorah, he's doing pretty well, but then he starts getting his butt handed to him, and out of nowhere Mothra comes. She webs up Ghidorah's heads up against the building, and Godzilla knocks Ghidorah through the building. So they're basically teaming up, and as Mothra is coming down to take a blow at Ghidorah, Rodan comes out of nowhere since he's defending the new Alpha, takes on Mothra. Mothra and Rodan are fighting, while Godzilla and Ghidorah are fighting. Godzilla's getting beat up, Mothra's getting beat up. And basically, Ghidorah takes Godzilla up into the clouds, flies him all the way up. Meanwhile, Mothra and Rodan are fighting. Mothra's getting her butt handed to her, but then she reveals she has a secret weapon. She has a stinger that she stings Rodan with, stings it all the way through his shoulder. And Mothra defeats Rodan, which I did not see coming. And I just love how it's like a 2-on-2 battle. So, since Ghidorah took Godzilla all the way up into the clouds, he drops him all the way from the clouds, also while strangling him like a boa constrictor, which I thought was pretty cool. And she drops him, and he's about to land a finishing blow, but Mothra crawls on top of Godzilla, defending him. She flies towards Godzilla, flies towards Ghidorah, and takes the blow, the gravity beam blow from Ghidorah. And she gets blown apart, and she uses her energy to help contain the nuclear energy that was going to make Godzilla explode. Because when they said they juiced up Godzilla, they said he would explode in a certain amount of time. So Godzilla is ready to explode. Mothra's energy uses the nuclear energy to contain it. And Godzilla becomes Burning Godzilla and whoops Ghidorah's butt. Basically, burns off both of his heads right here. Burns off his wings and then just stomps on him and burns him off. And and then he eats Ghidorah. He eats Ghidorah and blows him up with the atomic breath, and making sure there's no bit of him left to regenerate. And so then all the monsters that were awakened by Ghidorah come to that area, especially Rodan. Rodan lands in front of him. Godzilla looks at him. Rodan kneels. And all the other titans around him kneels, and Godzilla does his final roar, and there's the title Godzilla. That's the end of the movie. And I love this movie. I didn't get too into the human stuff because it wasn't as fascinating. It reminded me of a Japanese-made Godzilla movie. More specifically, the Heisei series and the Showa. The human characters were not as interesting, mostly because there were too many human characters for them to give proper development to. But when you kind of think about it, that's not what you're here for a monster movie. Or that's not what you're here to see in a monster movie. So that didn't really bother me too much. And all in all, the visual effects are visually stunning. Bear McCreary does a wonderful job with the sound design, and the action scenes are just phenomenal. And so, like I said in my last video, I love this movie, and I would highly recommend, if you haven't seen this movie, and why are you watching this? Go see it right now. So, this is also going to be an unboxing. Yay, I got a new addition to add to the shelf back here. So, I have Spider-Man right here, ready to go onto the shelf. And he's going right here. There we go. Spider-Man has been added to the shelf. He's going to be here, a part of my shelf now, and I have something new added. So, thank you guys for watching the video, and if you guys liked the video, make sure to subscribe today to join the Isaiahization.